They can hear okay, okay?
They should be able to, yeah. Yeah, I can see.
Oh,
Like, yeah. Like,
there you are.
hello.
Good having you.
Good.
That is hot. They look scared, like rather hot. But it's like, pardon? They didn't have meat, that meat.
Wow. That's sure.
Wow, lots of people online.
Mhm.
Our views. Yes.
Well, they're on the internet. They've been on fire. So good, they're not on fire. I know. It's spicy.
Does everybody have some paper and pen?
Because I'm gonna ask if you guys can use something. You can probably use the back of your hand as not paper. You have a pen with it. What's? Okay. I'm sorry. Yes. Hey everyone, I think we have about 14 people online. Everyone can hear okay? All right, so welcome Carissa. I'm just going to introduce her. For the past 10 years, Carissa has worked with organizations and individuals, helping them build their dreams, accelerate their results, and create richer or fulfilling lives. She's a human developer and the founder and CEO of Edge of Abundance. You can look up your Instagram and Facebook for Edge of Abundance. She's appeared on several personal development podcasts. There's a whole list of great ones. More importantly, you want to follow her podcast, Skip the Therapist, which is weekly on Apple and Spotify. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. So I am a real estate agent just like you, and I'll get into that story shortly, but I'm also a certified life mastery coach with the Brave Thinking Institute, as Ashley just said. And I usually do this presentation online, and today I'm doing it in person. So I've created some handouts for the people that are here in person to follow along as we kind of go through our presentation together. Welcome. So I'm going to start with a little story. Mother Mouse, with her 3 little babies, is walking through her house. And as she's walking through her house, a cat jumps out in front of her and is crawling towards the mother and the babies with his teeth out and his drooling and his sharpness, and he's just wanting to eat these babies and this mother. And the mother, trying to protect her baby, gets up on her hind legs and in the loudest voice possible starts saying, ruff, 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 to this cat. And the cat's confused, so he starts to run off and run away. So the mother turns to the babies and says, now children, never underestimate the power of learning more than one language. So we're here today to learn about the language of success. I'm going to refer to my notes from time to time, so bear with me. I want to make sure I give you every content possible to make sure that we have a really good training today. So why do we need to understand the language of success? Because this is the language for creating the results that you want in your life, in the areas that you really, really want to improve in your life, to have a long-lasting, joyful, right? So the content that we're going to go over has been studied and it's been used by tens of thousands of people worldwide. And it's something that has been worked through with 50 plus years under the Great Thinking Institute's Mary Morris. So that's who we're going to be going through and talking about. It's a proven, reliable, repeatable system that helps you create what matters most in your lives. We'll tie in why real estate may have something to do with it, because as entrepreneurs and self-employed people, especially in markets when it's downturn, it's important to keep your stability, keep your morale, keep your momentum going forward for yourself, for your mental health, and for your children and your family and loved ones at home, and for your clients, your client base. So to help you receive the best training possible, I'm just going to invite you to please minimize any distractions like cell phones or anything that's going to kind of keep you from really feeling the experience of being present with me here today, okay? So thanks for being here in person and online. I appreciate it. I'm going to ask you guys a question. How many of you have ever had a goal that you'd like to achieve, but you had no idea how you were going to achieve it? I feel like I want to put two hands up. Yeah. Basically, almost everybody, this half of the room put their hands up. So my intention with you here today is to share some of the most powerful tools to improve the results in your life and to give you real empowerment when you leave here today. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to give you 3 tools to help you achieve your goals. I'm going to create greater clarity on your goals and your dreams, and to have you feeling even more aware of how you can go about achieving those goals and those dreams. So are you guys up for that? Yes. Yes. Cool. Okay. So how many of you have ever achieved a goal and or a dream, and when you first set that goal, you weren't really sure how it's going to happen for you, right? You know, yeah, we never really know the how, and that's where we're going to focus on today, is suspending that how, okay? So that goes to show you that we're all capable of doing great things that we may not even have realized lives within us already. And to prove that to you, we're going to go over the systems that we're going to talk about. The systems we're going to talk about, I am certified to teach in my program called the Dream Builder Program. It has 10 principles, and for the sake of the time we have here today, we're going to only go through 3 out of the 10 principles, okay? So you see, we live in a universe where the universal law governs us by our longing and our discontent. Your longing is feelings that you have where you're desiring something that you haven't yet created, your longing and discontent. This is also in your pamphlet if you want to look into your pamphlet. And the feeling of discontent happens when things that your circumstances that are happening to you or for you are things that are displeasing. They're things that you don't want in your life just yet. So whether we're in a motion of pain or a problem or a burning desire for something new, these 2 energies are essential as catalysts for our internal growth. So I'm going to share with you a time in my life where the longing and discontent gave me a wake-up call. So it was 2008, and I was an employee of City of Toronto. So it was a great gig. I was working at the courthouse. I had a job for life, job security. My parents had bragging rights that, you know, she has job security, she's unionized, all these crazy things. And the first 4 years, I'm not going to lie, it was really, really fun. I was evolving. I was building out different divisions within the city. But in 2012, something happened. I started to feel caged in, like a caged bird. I was feeling overworked, overwhelmed, resentment started seeping in. I felt like I was the first one there, the last one to leave. All these negative thoughts kept coming in my head. At the time, I was 4 months pregnant. I showed up to work one morning ahead of everybody else, and I get a phone call. And the phone call was my husband at the time, and he said, Archie had a surgery. He's not surviving, it didn't go well, and they told us to come say goodbye. Archie was my husband's uncle at the time, and a very close person to me, like a second father. So of course I'm frantic. I pick up all my things and I'm getting ready to rush to the hospital. And I turn the corner and my manager is there. And she says, where are you going? And I said to her, I can't talk right now. It's an emergency, family emergency. I have to leave. So she says, okay, hold on. Before you leave, let's go to the lunchroom. So I'm like, okay, sure. So we walk to the lunchroom And she's like, how would you like to take this time? And I'm confused. I'm like, take this time? What do you mean? She goes, do you want to take vacation pay? Do you want to do leave pay? And I quickly realized the bureaucratic subtleties seeping in. And I said, you know what? My uncle is dying. It's a family emergency. Don't pay me. And I just left. And after that point, that 5 minutes of conversation caused me to never say goodbye to Archie. And that was my wake-up call. That was my discontent. So I developed this longing for wanting a change for myself. I just wanted to take off the employee hat mindset and put on a potential entrepreneur. I didn't know anything about having my own business, running my own business. I didn't know that how this is going to happen, how it's going to transpire. I just knew I had a burning desire for change. Okay. So I had a direction, I had a focus. I made a decision, right? And in doing so, at the time I had a life coach and a mentor. So I mustered up the courage to go along with their advice. And so we decided to come up with a great game plan of me becoming a real estate agent. So the remaining 5 months of my pregnancy, I studied. And into my maternity leave, I studied. And so after a whole, I think it was 18 months they gave, in 12 months, I got my real estate license. And in the first 6 months, I made $150,000, which was compared to the $60,000 price tag that the city of Toronto had always given me. So I was sick of feeling like a price tag was associated in terms of a salary for me. And it really gave me my momentum to move forward and make change and create an impact that I was really looking to do. And the point of the story is that we get to discover our burning desire of self-worth, what our core values are, like our family, our time, our freedom, our power of choice. And in doing so, that's how you build your vision and your dreams of what's really important to you and how you want to move forward to create cause and create impact for yourself and your loved ones. So today I'll be sharing with you some principles, like I said, of this program, 3 out of the 10. And here's my promise to you. I promise you that I'm going to give you everything I can in this presentation. And by the time this presentation is over, some of you may be ready to implement some of the information and move forward with your own personal plans and your professional plans. And to those special people that have made that decision by the end, I have a special gift for you. Okay? So does that sound good? Can we get started?
Sure does.
Okay. So many people go about their lives doing what they normally do, rolling with the punches, taking it as it comes, and they really live by default. You guys being Keller Williams agents, I used to be a Keller Williams agent. And I know we do Ignite and we do Bold. And part of Bold's slogan is living by design or default, right? So we know that oftentimes we're living by default. So we want to change that narrative because highly successful people live their lives by design. Most people living in default actually plan their weekend getaways more often than they plan their life. So it's a little bit of a wake-up call, right? And what we want to do is we want to kind of take the narrative of what successful people do. They create a life by design. And what that means is you set an intention like I did, transitioning from an employee to self-employed. You set a mission, a direction, a decision, and you put yourself into action mode to get that done, to establish yourself in that. So in your pamphlets, there was a spiral oval that you got. Yep. We all live by 4 domains. Every one of us has areas of 4 domains in their lives. The first one is health and well-being. The second is love and relationships. The third one is your vocation, which is your freedom of expression in the world, your career, what you stand for, what your purpose is, what your calling is. And the last one is time and money freedom. And we're each having results in each of these domains every day for ourselves. Some results you may love, and some results not so much. And here's the good news. No matter what the results, no matter how big the challenge might feel to you, you are 100% in control of the narrative. This isn't like a Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins statement, Joe Dispenza. This is actual reality. We're in charge of changing the narrative of the path of our journey, of our lives. It's a universal law. And the results that you're getting in these areas are a perfect reflection of your awareness in these areas. So we're going to tackle this awareness. So let's expand on that. It's something I call the results formula. So look at it this way. Your thoughts cause your feelings. We know that. Your thoughts cause your feelings. And when you think joyful thoughts, you feel happy. When you think scary thoughts, your heart starts to beat fast. So thoughts affect our physiology. And by universal law, your feelings are expressed through your actions. So, okay, if I'm thinking, oh, gee, it looks like it's going to rain today, that's my thought. And my feeling is, I don't want to go door knocking. It's going to rain today. So my feeling is contracted. I'm not going to be there's no momentum for me to work forward with taking an action of going outside and knocking on doors. And therefore, your actions dictate your results. So I'm not going to have any money in my bank account in 3 or 6 months or 3 or 6 weeks or whatever it is from now, right? So we know that our thoughts control our feelings, our feelings control our actions, and our actions control our results. And our results never ever lie to us. So if you want to know what you've been thinking, just simply look at your current results. If you have 0 in your bank account, it's because, like Gold says, what did you do 90 days ago, right? 90 days, 90 days, 90 days, the rule. So I want to ask you, if you're interested in creating new results in your life, we have to pay attention to what we're noticing. So we got the results formula and we got the notice what you're noticing. So if you take a moment right now and you notice where you're sitting, you notice your feet in your shoes on the floor, you notice looking at your computer screen, listening, and just notice that you have the ability to notice these things, right? That's a gift in itself. So when we're able to combine the two, the feelings, the thoughts, the feelings, the actions, the results, and we notice what we're noticing, we're then able to make something happen. Got to take an action step. So I'm going to ask you to, if you're online, to take out a piece of paper and a pen. And if you guys here could do the same, please. And I'm going to say some statements, and then we're going to do a life assessment for yourself. It's private. You don't, pardon?
I said, oh my.
Yes, it's a short life assessment. It's completely confidential. You don't have to put your hands up and share anything with anyone. So just be as honest with yourself as possible. So you might be a person who doesn't know what your dream is. You might be a person that has so many dreams and you don't know which one you want to implement one by one or all at once. The thing is that we all have a dream inside of us somewhere. Some of us don't know it, it just hasn't been awakened, and some of us know exactly what it is but don't know where to start or how to get to it. This exercise is meant for us to help us discover and design our dream. Okay? So I want you to consider where you are right now in the 4 domains that we looked at, and we're going to go one by one, starting with your love and, your health and well-being, the first one. So on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not fulfilled at all, and 5 being 100% fulfilled, I'm going to ask you to rate your health and well-being right now. As you're rating, I'm just going to read out. You might be a person who feels stuck in your ability to transform your health. Or you might be a person who has relatively good health. You don't have any symptoms, but you know that there's more vibrancy or aliveness in you somewhere. So on a scale of 1 to 5, just rate your health and well-being. Then we're going to move to love and relationships, the second domain. You might be a person who longs to have a beautiful, a deep, a fun, a passionate relationship with a loving and caring partner. Or you might be a person who already has a great relationship, but you want to deepen your relationship and you want to have more fun and feel more alive in that relationship. So on a scale of 1 to 5, give yourself a rating for your love and relationships domain. The third domain is vocation. This is, like I said, where your creative expression lies. It's where your career is and how you share your gifts out into the world. So you might be a person who feels stuck in your job and you don't like it, similar to how I felt when I was at City of Toronto. Or you might be a person who likes your work, but you work too much and too many hours and you want to have more freedom. So you can go ahead and rate yourself from 1 to 5 for your vocation category. And finally, we're going to go to time and money freedom domain. So you might be a person who feels out of balance Like you have more time than money or more money than time, and you'd really love to have a more harmony in both. So you could go ahead and rate yourself. Yeah, whatever it is, you can rate yourself 1 to 5. 1 being unfulfilled and 5 being very fulfilled.
So are we rating our contentness level or our like ability level?
No, it's how fulfilled you feel. Yeah, it's how fulfilled you feel in each of them. Be honest with yourself. Rate them 1 to 5. Okay, let's now take a moment. Let's take a moment and reflect on your life assessments. So as we considered each of the domains of your life, we looked at your current results based on what you just evaluated it, and you gave yourself a rating from 1 to 5. Now we want to pay attention to your thoughts around these results. I know some of you are laughing and giggling right now, but oftentimes it's a wake-up call, and a lot of times people feel really crappy. Can I say that online? They feel really crappy about the realization. Remember I said at the beginning, it's about you getting awareness of where you are today in your life, right? So based on your numbers that you gave yourself, you may kind of have like a wake-up call of, oh, I didn't realize this. Some of the things are not, it's feedback for you to realize that some things you would love more of and some things you love less of in your life. Yes.
Sorry, as a love and relationship section, are you talking about like romantic relationship, or are you talking about relationships with friends, family?
Anything.
Oh.
Anything related to your love towards children, towards any connections that you're having. Because at the end of this presentation, I'm going to tell you something else. I also do another presentation, which is on personality types, and it's awesome. And anybody who sees it always wants to know more and more and more. So I was going to ask Ashley, if you guys wanted to and you were interested, I can always come back and do a personality presentation for you, because I find that in this work, it's really, really good for you. It's like, it's not the disc one, it's a different one.
Is it the color
What's
one?
it? Yeah, which one is it?
No, it's something completely, it's something you have maybe never experienced before. It's about a matrix, it's a whole thing. So we would do your personality test for you, and it gives you a lot of insight about who your loved ones are, your kids, you can discover what they are, your clients, everything, right? And it's really, really good to build your connections in your relationships, okay? So that, I was gonna say that at the end, but now this conversation brought it up. So what we're gonna do is, we're not gonna judge your answers. We're not gonna play the blame game. There's no right or wrong, and there's no good or bad in what you did. You're simply having feedback and awareness of where you sit right now in the reality of your life. And as Gold says, and as other people in personal development always say, what's costing you in one area of your life is costing you in other areas of your life. So looking at that as feedback, you're discovering that if I'm a 1 here or a 5 there, in between, how can I be better or improve or evolve, right? So whatever your results have been up until now, you have the power within you to move forward and create the results that you would truly love to impact your life and the life of others. So it brings me to my first point out of the 3 keys of mastering your life. The first one being designing your dream. So when you would love something different, of results to be different in your life, you plan for them. Us as realtors know this best. When a client wants to rebuild a house, what do they have to do first? Have a blueprint by an architect. So you're essentially an architect of your life. You got to have that decision, that clarity to move forward. You got to know what your dream is. When you're clear on your dream, the universe is clear on working to give you your dream. So if you're confused, the universe is confused. Honestly, this is like the law of the universe. You guys know the law of attraction? Okay, so do you know that there's actually 11 laws? That's just one of the 11 laws. Most people don't know it. So there is a program that I also teach, just as a side note, that's called Working with the Law. And there's 11 of these laws. One of them is law of attraction. So there's lots of laws that exist. This is one of those laws. When you're clear on what it is that you want, the universe will respond to you. Has anyone ever experienced that? Because I'll give you a very silly example of one. Yes, you have? Do you want to share? Just condense it into like a 2-sentence.
Yeah, well, even like coming into real estate.
Yeah.
My goal, I was off work for 18 months, 19 months before I became a realtor. And I said that when I start, I want to make what I left. So the income I left, I wanted to start that or have my tertiary real estate have that. And it was like 6 cents above.
6 cents a buck. That's perfect. Great example.
I have no idea how that was gonna happen, but it happened.
I love what you just said, because that's a huge part of it, is I didn't know how it was gonna happen. So what I heard you say is you made a decision and then things happen out of the blue for you to make that happen. That's gonna come back. We're gonna come back to things happening out of the blue when you make a decision. So your clarity of what you wanted, the universe responded to you. Okay? And listen, I use the word universe. People that are religious, you use God. People that are spiritual, they use different things. People that are this, they use love. Some people use love, some people use the universe. Whatever you want to call it, it is a higher force. We have to admit that there is a power above and beyond us that exists. You can never stop your heart from beating unless you pass away, God forbid. You can never stop yourself from breathing. So there's a higher power within us that's breathing us, whatever way you want to say it. Okay? So if you turn to, there's some slides in your handout. Let's just go over some of these things. The power of your dream, the power of your vision. You've probably heard of some of these people, their famous quotes. So in order to carry a positive action, we develop here a positive vision, the Dalai Lama. I won't read every single person, but I'll read the quotes because they're great. Where there is no vision, people perish. People with goals succeed because they know where they're going. That direction, that decision. You're never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. So you can flip the one more page. I'm going to ask you to flip to this page. You can write it down for the people online that don't have the handout, but write down these 3 words. Clarity is power. Clarity is power. When you become clear on what it is that you really want in your life, you begin to see opportunities and resources that you may have otherwise entirely missed. What is your name? Danielle. This brings us something out of the blue. That's in my notes, just so you know, Danielle. Out of the blue. Exactly what you said. So let's design the blueprint for your dream and let's make it crystal clear. And for the purpose of the time today, I'm going to invite you to really focus on that one rating that was the lowest. So take a look at your ratings right now and circle the one to yourself that was the lowest amount. If you don't remember, I don't know how you guys took your notes, but do you still have it in the order of love and relationships? Okay, so you now know which one is your lowest rate. Okay. So that's a good point. Oftentimes, when we focus on building a dream for ourselves, the actual goal is to kind of spread yourself across 25%, let's say between all 4 of these domains. Because if I'm a type A personality or driver personality, I automatically, my relationships and connections and intimacy suffer because I'm very driven into like, go, 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 results, 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 which all comes into that personality presentation that I was telling you about. And if I'm kind of like very an empath, I feel people's feelings, then probably my career is suffering somehow because my focus is this way. Like, you know, the statement, like where your energy goes, where your intention goes, your energy flows, right? So depending on where your intention is focused, your awareness, the other stuff suffer. However, so to answer your question, the 4 domains, we always want to be balanced between all 4. However, when you're starting out to develop a dream or a vision, you're going to be focusing primarily on 1 or 2. Don't start with all the 4 at once because it'll be overwhelmed, analysis paralysis. You want to focus on 1. And then once that starts to transpire, automatically it'll trickle into the other. But if there's 2 that are the same, you can do 1 or 2. It's fine. Okay? There's no right or wrong, but it's easier on you. So pick 1 to 2, and you want to really turn up the focus on the lowest ratings. So here's an important concept that will help us understand why crystal clear intentions are so important. I love this quote. The quality of your life is determined by the questions that you ask. So let that sink in for a minute.
I've never heard, really? I've never heard that.
Okay, let's do a test.
That way,
So the quality of your life is based on the questions you ask. So we're all realtors here, yeah? I'm imagining we're all realtors.
Yeah.
Okay, and everyone online. So if I was, because I'm a realtor as well, If I was to, as a real estate agent, sit here and ask questions like this: why is the market so down? Why is the economy so bad? Why is there wars happening in the world? How am I going to make money? So those are the questions I could ask versus why not me? How can I improve? What can I do different today? How can I grow? The qualities of your life that you ask the questions, the quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. So oftentimes we ask how questions. How questions are always negative. They have a negative tone. But what questions are empowering? So refocus yourself to start asking what questions versus how questions. And one of the most highly calibrated questions is this: what would you love? So if I ask anybody in this room right now, what would you love? I can almost bet 9 out of 10 people are going to say, well, I would really love to get rid of my debt. Well, I really don't want these extra 10 pounds. We're always focused on what we don't want.
Right.
Nobody ever asks us what we do want. And when they do, we don't know. Oftentimes we're like, we feel selfish for saying something we want. That's why oftentimes we think we have dreams. We all do have dreams, but a lot of them are tucked away deep down. And I'm just going to make a bold statement here, especially with men. I think women are just way more open to talking about it, but men feel like there's this sense of responsibility on them, this sense of being providers, that they are not allowed to say what they desire. They're not allowed to say what they would want or what they would dream of. So that could be something that maybe doesn't, resonate with you guys, but it's just my own personal experience is that men too have desires. They're open and they're willing to be open if they feel the narrative allows them to be. So the question is, what would you love? So ask yourself, what would I love? Because we're going to go into a journaling moment. So I'm going to ask you in a minute, I'm going to give you 1 minute to write down what you would love in your life. And we're going to do this. We're going to go ahead in a pretend time machine 3 years forward. We're not going to go 1 year, because when we go 1 year, our subconscious mind tends to play tricks on us and says things like, oh, who cares? You didn't do it last year. What makes you think you're going to do it this year? But when we do it to 3 years, we allow possibility, opportunity to see it. So we're going to go into a fake imaginary time machine and go forward 3 years. And I'm going to ask you some questions. I want to ask you to be as open as possible with yourself and suspend the how. We talked earlier about the fact that we're going to suspend the idea, the urge to wonder how it's possible. So if you're willing, and if you're on your Zoom call at home, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for a moment, please. I'm just going to play some music. I don't know if the music will play online.
No,
Okay.
if it's loud enough, it will.
It's just on my phone. I don't
Oh,
think it will. But for here, the people here, let's play a little bit of quiet music. So if you don't mind just closing your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose, just letting in possibility, opportunity, and then slowly out through your mouth, exhaling judgment, exhaling fear, exhaling negative thoughts. And we're going to step into a time machine, and we're going to pretend you have a magic wand and everything you wanted worked out. If you knew you could not fail, what would you be doing? It all worked out. Who are you with? See it. What are you doing? Do it. How does it feel? Feel it. Just let your imagination run with it completely. And really, really dream big. Test yourself. Okay, so we're gonna gently open our eyes. And on your piece of paper, I'm gonna invite you to write the words, I am so happy and grateful now that. I'm so happy and
Can you
grateful
read that from there?
now that. I'm so happy and grateful now that. And just get really, really clear as possible about what you just thought about in your thought. And I'm going to ask you to, when you're done writing that, just go ahead and write in 1 minute what you were just imagining. Just really, really be authentic and clear.
So what we are going for right now, or what you call imagination.
So you're remembering you're pretending to be 3 years ahead, right? And you just dreamt a dream about all the things that are possible when there's nothing getting in your way and it's magic wand to give you exactly what you want 3 years from now. So you were going to say, I'm so grateful, happy and grateful now that, and you're going to write your dream out as a present tense, like it's already happened and it's already happened. You're living in that dream. Okay, 10 more seconds. Okay, so at the end of what you just wrote, I'm going to invite you to write this or even something greater still. This or even something greater still. This phrase is a powerful signal that what you've just expressed here on this piece of paper and in your thoughts is your awareness in this very moment. And this statement allows you to be holding your hands out like this to something even greater and more powerful, and your willingness to receive something even greater than you were able to imagine for yourself. So I want to congratulate you for just completing the first key, which is designing your dream out of the 10 principles. When you get clear on what it is that you would love to have in your life, the universe, as we described, goes to work to create that possibility for you. And I want to tell you why this first step is so important. Everything is created twice. First in thought. Danielle, you want to come teach this with me? She's doing everything together with me. I love it. So in tune. First in thought, then in reality. Yeah, something tangible. So the clothes we're wearing, the computer, the light shining, it was always first someone's thought, and then it became something real in reality. And you're doing that as well. You're building a thought of your dream in your mind, and you're now going to go to work to make it real, to make it something tangible and real in your life. So we're going to go to second key, which is deciding for your dream. Just like we experience results throughout our day, we also make decisions each day throughout our life. Whatever we decide influences our results. Even the smallest choices can have the greatest impact on our day-to-day. And this is why it's so important that we know how to make empowered decisions. Decisions we make will determine our results. So to master our results, we want to master our ability to make really good decisions. We know that as real estate agents. It's a very serious job that we have, dealing with people's biggest assets, right? We've got to be able to have the power to make really impactful decisions on a daily basis. In fact, it's been proven that highly successful people are willing to decide for their dream and decide for anything that they want to plan before they know how, before the how that we talked about. Sometimes people want to know the answer to everything before they make a decision. Some people, believe it or not, want to know that before they go out of their driveway, every light down the street is going to be green. Right? We don't want to do that. We don't care about the how. We just want to know what our dream is and how to get to it. So we want to suspend the how. And that is where we're going to refuse to let the unknown stop us from making a decision to move forward on our dreams. So we're going to go to the third key, which is befriending your fear. So we're going to take a deep dive into the first and second key of mastering our results, which we knew was designing your dream and deciding for your dream. Now we want to create the possibility of befriending your fear. So what does that mean? That means we're allowed to have fear, but we don't want to allow fear to have us. So we make decisions just like I did when I decided to leave my employee mindset behind. I was dying in fear. I was 4 months pregnant. I didn't know the first thing about anything about being my own boss. But I decided that I was going to befriend my fears. And I did. So I've been a real estate agent for 10 years, full-time, not part-time. Not that anything's wrong with that, but for me, it's been full-time. And I transitioned into life mastery coaching as well, because during the course of my trainings, I was the lead facilitator for the Ignite program. I used to be with Keller Williams. So I was their lead facilitator and trained a lot of our coaches, new and old, veterans even that were part-time or stepped out of the industry and came back in. So I realized that that's where my passion lies, is to create impact in the lives of others. So I made a decision, and that's what happens here. You befriend your fear, the unknown, and you move forward with that. So we really want to focus on befriending our fear. And the author of the book, Think and Grow Rich, which I'm sure a lot of people know, Napoleon Hill, says, the value of your decisions depends upon the courage you have to make them. So the value of your decisions depends on the courage you have to make them. Similar like bold, the concept of being bold, having courage to make very important decisions in your life. When we decide for a dream, like we talked about, things happen out of nowhere, which we know. So there's a part of you that says, yes, I'm ready to take the next step. And then there's a lot of, how are you going to do that? All the negative Nelly thoughts that come into your head. We call them naysayers, right? We call these paradigms. And when paradigms like fear step in, you got to have tools to fight back. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to have concepts like, I'm going to teach you. So think about this. When we were babies, we were non-walkers, right? Were you born and you knew exactly how to walk out of your home? I don't think so. You sprinted. Okay. So when we were babies, we started out as non-walkers. As a non-walker, you saw people all around you walking on their hind legs, and you were sick and tired yourself of being, floor bound. So you made a decision one day. You locked eyes with the cookie or the toy across the room and mustered up the courage to get up, and you took your first step. And what happened? You fell, right? And then what happened after that? You got up again, and you took another step, and then you fell again. And you got up and you took another step and took another step, and eventually you learned how to walk. But you didn't learn how to walk without falling. So something happens to us as we become adults. We stop giving ourselves permission to fall, permission to fail. And actually, failing is a prerequisite to success. Many successful people have failed many times to get where they are. Oprah Winfrey, in case you didn't know, was fired by television executives, told she wasn't fit for TV. Now she has her own multi-billion-dollar network. Steven Spielberg was kicked out of film school, USC film school, 3 times, but he rose up and kept going. Now his net worth is over $3 billion. The founder of Starbucks. Should I go on? He was rejected. His application was rejected 242 times. They said his type of coffee, there's no place for it. There's no market for his type of coffee. Now his net worth, they have over 30,000 Starbucks around the world, and his net worth is over $22 billion. Great success stories, as we said, also have great failed experiences. In fact, like I said, fear and failure go hand in hand as prerequisites. So the times that what if you fail creeps up, I want to give you some equipment, some tools to have of how to combat it. When your paradigm of fear pops up, I'm going to give you this tool. You stop your thought process in its tracks. You say, not today. So I have a thought in my head that, I don't want to go prospecting. You stop right away, not today. And then you redirect your thinking to your vision, the thing you wrote down. So first you stop the thought, the negative thought, then you redirect yourself to your vision. But your vision is not going to work on itself just because you wrote it down today. Okay, there's no magic wand poof, like it's just going to happen. There's a third step, the secret sauce. You have to take an action step. Okay, so my negative thought comes in my head. It's raining. I don't want to go out today. So my vision is I want to marry Henry Cavill, Superman. Okay, so in order for me to marry him, I have to take an action step. What am I going to do? I got to put on a raincoat and go to work, right? Like that's the only way I'm going to get to Henry. I got to be successful somewhere. So we stop the negative thought, we redirect and reconnect with our vision, and then we take an action step. So as I promised you at the beginning, I'm going to give you a gift for being here today. It's nothing big, it's just a free gift. But before I go to that, let's recap our topics that we talked about. The first key is designing your dream. Check, you did that. You have a blueprint of what you want to achieve, and a clear blueprint is helpful to the universe to help clarity and to bring you close to what you want. Second key is deciding for your dream. Check. The power of making decisions. You decide for the thing that you want in absence of the how to do it. And the third key is befriending your fear. Check. And how fear and failure are actually prerequisites for your greatness. So above all, I want you to remember you are all worthy of your dream. In fact, it's your duty to produce a dream, a vision, men and women, because your little ones are looking at you. And if you don't have a dream and you're not living a happy, joyful life, they're going to think that's what life is. And they're going to go on and evolve into living mediocre lives that don't bring them joy, don't bring them happiness. It's your duty to fulfill your dreams and your desires. And I'm going to give you a gift. And then I'm going to end with a story, a short story. So if you flip to, I didn't think to give you guys the link on the Zoom call. Or are you able to give them the link later? Okay, so I have a Calendly link. So between my life coaching gig and my real estate gig, what I often do is I do a complimentary for these people here or there, 30-minute strategy call for anyone who's interested in taking their life a step further. It's a $250 value for clients usually. But for you guys, it's complimentary. And the link is on the second last and last page of the pamphlet, I believe there's the link. So if anyone's interested in having a one-on-one private Zoom public meeting to go over anything that they're looking to evolve and improve on their life, I'm happy to help you and serve you guys. If you'd like, you can go ahead and fill that in before the session's over or by the end of the day, because they are limited. There's only, I think, one day a week that I do those calls. So they do tend to fill up. So that's one gift. And then on the last page of the pamphlet as well, I've put the my QR codes to my podcast that I actually mentioned at the beginning today. It is updated weekly on Wednesdays, and it's on Apple and Spotify. So if you're looking for real talk, no nonsense conversation on a weekly basis from a life mastery coach to give you tips and tricks of life, feel free to listen to those as well.
What is the podcast?
Pardon? The podcast?
Oh, is the Skip the Therapist podcast?
Skip the Therapist podcast, yeah. It's just each episode is focused on a specific topic, and then I discuss it, and then they're not very long. I think the most is like 15 minutes, and they're cute to listen to on the go to help you with anything that you might be interested in listening to on your way to work or driving or anything like that.
Is wellness related?
Pardon?
Is real estate related?
Oh, is it real estate? It's life related. Everything in life is real estate related too. It's about being a person. Are you human? Do you have a pulse? It's related to you. Okay, so it's business related, personal related, anything like that. So I'm going to end with a story, and it's about Murray. Murray, yeah, William H. Murray. Anybody heard of William H. Murray?
No.
Okay, William H. Murray is known as one of the top 5 mountain climbers of all time. But he didn't start out that way. In fact, he almost let the opportunity of greatness completely slip him by. A man named Edmund Hillary came in and started to create a team and put a team together to summit Mount Everest, something that had never been done before. Hillary invited Murray to join his team. And Murray asked, how much is it going to cost? The how question. And since he thought it was too much, he declined the invitation. He did the same thing a few years later, letting the costly expenditure stop him from going. But then when Hillary came to Murray a third time, Murray asked a different question. He said, what's the deposit? Instead of a how question, he asked a what question. What's the deposit? Even though he had no idea where he was going to get the rest of the money from or how to finance this trip, he took an action step. And things happened out of the blue. Murray discovered a southern route that allowed the team to summit Mount Everest. Murray was the one who discovered the southern route. You guys all have a Mount Everest dream inside of you. And perhaps there's no clear path at this point, but that doesn't mean a path doesn't exist for you. It just means that you still are growing your awareness that we talked about at the beginning to be able to see the things and to generate the results that you want. And I'm honored to be able to be here with you guys today and online. And really, it's a beautiful day. So thank you for taking the time to be here for this hour and a bit to be with me and to go through this. So I'm going to close this workshop with a very famous quote from Murray's book. It's a little bit outdated, so just bear with me with the wordings, okay? It might not make sense. Okay. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. Namely, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, makes a decision, then providence moves too. The universe starts to respond to you. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred out of the blue. A whole stream of events issue from that decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no one could have dreamt would have come their way. Another quote that I love says, whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness, bold, has genius, power, and magic in it. So I want to leave that in your hands. Before you go out today, out of these doors, I want to say whatever lives within you is far greater than any circumstance, any condition, and any situation that is existing in your life here today. You're far greater than that. Okay? So thank you. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? No questions? So I was going to say, Ashley, if you guys are interested, I could come back and do the personality test.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. And I have the quiz and everything for you, so you can take it while I have it. Okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, people online. Thank you.